All right, I'd like to call to order the December meeting of the Easthampton Historical Commission. First item of business, I guess we're going to move up the demo request for the barn at 449 East Street. Jamie, you want to, I think you dealt with this more than I have seen anything. Can you give us a little background on it?
Yeah, so I received a request from the building commissioner. There was a demolition permit that was put in for the structure, the barn at 449 East Street. There was no other information provided with that application or with that demolition request. I responded to the applicant, had a brief conversation with Mr. Tomaszkowski. I think I just butchered your last name. I'm quite sorry about that. And he explained to me that he's actually planning to take the structure down and move it to, I believe, North Carolina. So we weren't sure if this is actually demolition, and if it was to be considered demolition, whether or not that this structure is considered to be historically significant to the city. So the sort of discussion tonight should be around those issues of whether or not this is a historically significant structure. And if it is a historically significant structure, then that initial determination would lead to an actual public hearing at a later date and time to be determined for a demolition delay hearing. So this is just that initial determination as to significance. I don't know if, Mike, if you want to discuss that or hear from the applicant about the process first, or how you want to proceed.
Okay, well, I guess the first thing we want to figure out is this something that we need to look at, right? Typically, I mean, we're pretty much concerned with the demo delay with homes usually, or other kind of buildings of that nature. I don't think we've had too many requests for barns, have we?
A couple. Yeah.
Like you said, it's not inventory or anything, right? There's no other documentation on it.
Correct. So I'm going to share my screen. And this is using Google Maps. It's just a image of the barn from East Street. It is not, the building has not been inventoried. It's not listed on the MACRIS database of inventoried properties. It's not on the state or national register of historic places. So really just the question is whether or not the commission finds it to be historically significant to the city. And if that is the case, then we would need to go through an actual public hearing and notice for demolition.
Okay. Beverly, would you like to weigh in first?
Well, I know a little background of the farm. Since my cousin was married to one of the Tomaszewskis years ago. But basically, the barn now is separated by a newer house from the original farmhouse on the property. And having driven past it recently, it did not look to be in the best of shape from the outside. I don't know, Mike, if you want to take a look at it.
Well, I'm looking at it, at this picture right now, and I'm kind of looking at in context to anything else. I know farmhouses and barns are kind of a disappearing resource in our area, but it's kind of out of context with the neighborhood right now anyways.
Right.
Mike, would you like to give us some background on the building? Like
Sure.
how old it is and
My father wanted to try to keep it in the town or something, whatever. And so when my sister and I partitioned the property, that's what happened. That's why the house is there, because that's where used to be a garage, and that's gone. So the problem historically, the barn was originally built in Quabbin, and when the reservoir went in Quabbin, basically, my grandfather in the 1930s moved it from Quabbin to Easthampton, and it's been in Easthampton since then. The problem is right now is that it's the backside, which doesn't show here, is deteriorated, and it's falling in. Basically, is what it is. It's becoming a liability to me, and so as much as to do it, but I've got a nephew in Virginia, now North Carolina, Jamie, and. But if you go inside the structure, there's some really nice beams in the way in which the tenants are made and this kind of stuff. And so that he's going to take it down there and resurrect it. So it's really not being demolished. It's being moved.
right. Oh. Is there any other plans for the property, or just to clear it, or get rid of the liability there?
I'm trying to well, step one right now is I'm 78. My kids are wondering what Dad's trying to do with this whole thing and whatever, and they don't want the problems. And so, if you know what I mean, and so I'm trying to do as best I can. That's where I am right now. The first issue we've got is to try to do something with the barn, and so that's why I initiated this thing of trying to get the barn removed.
Gotcha. Tracy, do you have any thoughts on this?
Hey?
Yeah, you, Tracy.
I'm thinking, I'm feeling my, what's your name, Mike?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm feeling you, man. I feel like, if someone else, can resurrect if you want to move it, I don't see any issue with it. It got moved before, didn't it?
Yes, it did.
It's deteriorating, right?
Yes.
So if someone's willing to, a relative's willing to, take it on as a project and try to restore it, I don't see any issue with it. And you want to get rid of the liability on that property. It's not doing you any good by being there, correct?
Correct. I'm just paying taxes on it.
I know that. So, yeah. So, I don't have any issues. What does everybody else think?
Well, I think it's no longer associated with the original farmhouse because there's been a house in between, and it certainly doesn't enhance the property next door. And I think there's a house built way to the back behind that.
Mm-hmm.
And as long as it's going to be resurrected, I don't see a problem with it coming down.
I agree.
I'm looking at it, if you're looking at significance or, part of a landscape, like Beverly had said, that it's really not associated with the farmhouse anymore. It's kind of out of context sitting there in the field. I don't really feel that it's, we should, or we need to actually hold a hearing on it. I think we should let it go without really a big deal.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think there's a meeting necessary for it, especially since it's not on the register.
Correct.
Right, yeah. Not inventoried or anything. It didn't come up on any other documents or anything, Jamie, did it, as far as like the surveys and that kind of thing?
I only looked as far as what was, if it had an individual inventory.
Right. Okay.
On Macris. There was only one property on East Street that was inventoried, and it's much further down the street. It's an old farmhouse near the Mountain View Farm, which I don't believe was associated with this farm.
No.
No, it's nowhere near it.
So I guess we can we'll get a motion to basically say that we don't feel we need to have a hearing on this.
So the motion,
A motion for significance, I guess.
Yes.
Okay, well, either Beverly or Tracy, I guess.
I move that we not have a public meeting on it and that allow the demolition permit to take effect.
I second.
Okay, all those in favor, Beverly,
Aye.
Tracy,
Aye.
Mike, aye. Okay. We're not gonna hold you to a public hearing or anything, so I think we allow the demo permit to go through without any other action from us.
Mike, are you still living in Texas?
I'm still living in Texas.
Wow.
That's right. But yeah, I landed there in 75 and I worked at university, taught dairy management, and I retired, several years ago, and still still teaching part-time. So, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I am still living in the old family house in Mount Tom.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's all. Not much of my time left.
Yeah, well, there's still a few of us here.
Beverly's a holdout. Thank you for your time tonight. Good luck with everything and for your son and getting that thing moved.
Super. Okay, I'll leave you guys to your work.
Okay.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Take
No
care.
problem. Thank you. Take care.
Jamie, I'll get some from
right.
you. And whatever.
I will notify the building commissioner that the historical commission's met and voted that it's not historically significant and that she can go ahead and issue the demo permit. So
Okay.
you should get
Great.
that notice sometime tomorrow.
Okay, awesome. Great. Thank you.
Take
Bye
care.
now.
You're welcome. Take care.
Bye-bye.
All right, bye.
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 All right. Next order of business. No, we don't have a public here, so I guess we don't need a public speak unless Beverly or Tracy have something to say, or Jamie, I guess, as a member of the public. We have some minutes from 10/13 that need to be approved. Everybody should have gotten a copy of that a while back.
Yeah.
Okay, is there any comments, additions, corrections? No?
No.
Motion to approve minutes as written?
I move that we approve the minutes as written.
Second that.
Nancy second. Beverly? in
Aye.
favor? Aye. Tracy?
Aye.
Mike? Aye. Okay, correspondence. We got a couple of things here. First thing is we have an environmental review, basically like the section 106. I didn't get a computer copy of this, but this is from Shannon at Pioneer Valley Planning. This is a property at 41 South Street, Unit 17. I actually will hold it up. This is her comments on the determination of eligibility. Proposed aging in place work is for interior rehabilitation to include the installation of an acorn stair lift with a power supply located at the top of the stairs and 4 total grab bars in the first and second floor bathrooms. Her other comments, property is not currently eligible for National Register. The property is potentially eligible for National Register due to age. However, it has not been inventoried. It's not within or in close proximity to a local, state, or national registered historic district. Proposed work will also not impact any existing exterior architectural integrity. I will hold this up so you can see a picture of, is that okay? It's the condos on South Street where Bob Schwab used to live.
Oh,
So, I mean, it's not going to affect anything on the outside, number one. This you start to feel old when you go, well, it's 1971 when it was built, and it's already 50, So,
that's sad.
yeah. Anyways, anybody have any objection to me signing this?
None at all.
Okay.
No.
All right, so I will sign that and send it back to Shannon. Let's see. Correspondence number 2, Chappelle Engineering, project number 610657 is the construction of the bike path or shared use path along Mount Tom Road down by New Beverly. This came up how many years ago when they were talking about redoing Route 5 from the
At least 2 or 3.
at least, yeah. It's, so basically, they're looking at.
Would you like me to share my screen?
Please.
Do you have this?
Yeah.
Please.
Can you see that okay?
I see the letter.
You got the.
So this is the letter.
Is there a map?
Yeah, that's it should be in there. There's one of them.
Can you see the map okay?
Yeah, actually, the satellite view maybe.
Yep.
It's maybe a little clearer to what's what there. As you can see, it starts pretty much at the end of the Manhan Rail Trail and would extend in front of the electrical substation all the way to Atwood or beyond. Probably.
And it's on the southbound side of the road, right? Or is it on the northbound side of the road?
Actually on the westbound side of the road.
Did you say westbound?
Yeah.
No.
In this image, north is to the right.
North is, where is north?
North would be to the right.
Yeah, north
Yeah.
is to the right, yeah. Yeah, it's basically, it should be southbound side. Go back to the other one, maybe you can see it clearer. At least what side it's on. It appears that it's going to be on, well, it's hard to say because it's like.
And in the description, they talk about it being on the westbound side of the road. So it would be on the side, the Oxbow, it'd be on the Oxbow side of the river, not the Connecticut
Not the
River
railroad,
side.
not the railroad side. It
Correct.
would be
Not on the railroad side. It's between.
which is southbound, actually.
Right. It's the southbound direction
Lane.
of Route 5, but it's on the west side of the road.
Yeah. Okay.
Is it,
So why are we involved in this?
Because there's potentially federal funding for this project, they're looking for historical commission review and approval that no historic resources or known historical resources are going to be destroyed as part of this process.
well, I'm looking at it from, if it's starting at the end of the bike path and basically the city line is
It's right there, about
over the bridge, right?
right, yeah.
And that's all been disturbed anyways over the last few years. And when they put that new bridge in, they put that temporary bridge over there, pretty much right in that spot.
Yeah, and I think the only thing that came up the last time that was this was discussed was that there was the old ferry. There's a ferry that goes from.
Yeah.
There's like an old tower.
I'm not even sure if that's actually a ferry tower or if that was just the old electrical towers that.
Those were electrical towers. The ferry was further down river.
Yeah.
But as it's also, those would also be on the opposite side of the
road, yeah.
of where they're proposing this path to be.
Right. Yeah. I mean, if you look at this, you can see the power lines going to the substation on this map, right where it says Mount Tom. And a couple of different ones there, and I'm pretty sure that's what that big tower was for. There's a couple of different things that I think that are not in use anymore, but this shouldn't have any effect on it anyways. This whole area in front of the substation's been regraded and cleaned out. I mean, there's really nothing there. And so I don't see it as being any kind of issue.
The bike path goes down Route 5 anyway on that southbound side and ends, I think, just before the bridge. So they probably have to. I was down at the boat ramp one day, and a woman was surveying the area for this bike path, and I was trying to get an idea from her how they would manage it, since the road is so narrow in that whole section. But
apparently it's going to be a 10-foot wide bike path. It's a dual. I think it's going to be dual
direction. Yeah.
So
it's going to be on the other side of the guardrails. I'm assuming is the way it sounds, right?
Correct. There'll be some way to control
in those telephone poles. There used to be a road through there, right, Beverly?
Through where?
On the other side of the guardrails by the Oxbow. There was like a dirt road.
Not that I remember, no.
Yeah, like right in that area. They're up over here. Again, you can kind of still see where it was. I think it was more of an access for the power lines or something. But like I said, I don't think there's, number one, most of that's going to be in Northampton anyways. In our little section, there's really nothing there that I would think was anything significant.
Yeah.
The only thing that I could think of would be where the old trolley tracks were, but no idea where that is on this. I don't think there's any trace left of it.
There are still stonework, and I go down the boat ramp a lot. It's one of my walks, and there's still a lot of stonework. If you're going north on 5, to the left of the bridge, there's a lot of old stonework that probably was part, and that's what they used actually when they put the temporary bridge in there.
Right.
Some of that stonework is still there.
Okay.
Which I can't see how this would affect it, unless they utilize it, which would be good.
Yeah. I doubt if they're going to be tearing anything like that apart, but we could make a comment on that, I suppose.
I doubt that they tear it apart too.
Yeah. Probably not good practice there. All right. So, any other comments on that, or any?
It would sure make it a lot safer on Route 5. Every time I drive up or down to Northampton, I'm thinking of when you see bicyclists, you fear for their life because it's so narrow.
I've biked that stretch quite a few times, and it's not.
It's nasty.
Yeah, it's not fun.
Yeah.
No. It's pretty
I've
difficult.
seen people get hit there before. I went by a couple months ago. Somebody got hit down there.
A
Not
number
too
of
long
years
ago.
a number of years ago, somebody got killed at night on that stretch of the road.
Oh, let's see. Oh, let's see. Yeah,
So we
So,
just have to tell them that we have no objections. Is that what we're asked about?
I mean, sorry, I just closed that window, but what they, I mean, so the letter was originally sent to, oops, let's see. I need to unrotate it. The letter was originally sent to Greg Nettleman, the DPW director, with copies to the Historical Commission, amongst other organizations. Then they're really asking for comments about the project. So any comments about the project related to, I guess, usability from the DPW, but also if we had any comments, or the Historical Commission has any comments related to impacts to historically significant objects or structures.
Any comments that you wish to make? Okay, I mean, they don't have any drop dead date on it, but I mean,
so it's as soon as possible is what they're looking for.
Yeah. I'm looking at, like, I mean, should we draft a letter say, like, no significant impact on any historical resources in the area of construction?
Yeah, I mean, if you want, I can also just reply to the email which it came, and let Greg and Mike, did you get that email?
Did I get it?
Yeah.
No, I got a hard copy of this.
You got a hard copy of it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So is your letter different than what the one that went to Greg, or did you?
I didn't read the other one. I kind of doubt it. It doesn't, I mean, it's the town of Easthampton and the city of Northampton along the Massachusetts Department of Transportation proposes to build a shared use, blah, 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 blah. I would think it's probably the same letter.
Okay.
Change the name on it.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm just thinking that, we can do a short but sweet little, we have no concerns, basically.
Yep.
All right. Now I have something that probably none of you have heard about. And I'm not really, this is another one that, let's see, I'll have to find this one. Let's see here, this might take a minute. If I can even do it, I probably can't. Because I just realized this came from my other email account.
My allergies are killing me, so if I cough a lot, it's because of the mold allergies right now.
Yeah. Okay. So this, we got an email from Olivia Norton with NUCA Research and Planning Group. They've been contracted by the EPA, Region 1, to develop 10 geographic response strategies for the Connecticut River in Massachusetts. Where'd all you good people go?
What does that mean?
Okay, well, GRSs are response plans tailored to protect specific sensitive areas from oil spill impacts. They show first responders where sensitive areas are located and where to place oil spill protection resources to protect those areas. You are receiving this email because you have been identified as a potential project work group member for a stakeholder organization with a vested interest in environmental, economic, and social resources on or near the Connecticut River. So they're having a Zoom meeting tomorrow, the project introduction site selection meeting at the first work group gathering on Thursday, December 9th, which I was planning on attending, but I'm not sure if I'll be able to do much of it, because I ended up having to get a doctor's appointment at 10:15. This goes from 10 to 12. If somebody is interested in going, I can forward this email to you, and there's a Zoom link for it. And just say, from the Easthampton Historical Commission. There are attachments here. I can send it off. It's really kind of vague exactly what they're planning on doing. They're looking at pretty much the same area where we just looked at. That at the boat ramp, basically. Again, like you said, I don't think there's really anything there. I really have to go down and look at it. But
well, I think what they're probably considering is the amount of boat traffic that goes in and out of there, and
right,
whether anyone were to bring fuel down to the boat ramp area.
Yep. That and in the marina, if there was anything there that it would get into the river, and so
right.
Yeah, so I mean, I don't think our input's going to be minimal, anyways. But they're looking for like input from fire departments, emergency management agencies, water, public works, conservation commissions, and historical commissions. Anyways, if anybody's interested, let me know. I can forward this. At this time, I really don't know, anything that can find out more as we move forward.
How about the sewage? There's a sewage thing right near the bike path. Does that go into the river, or does it go into the Oxbow?
You're talking about whereabouts you talking? Down at the boat ramp?
Well, it's the brick house behind the house that's going to get taken down for Duncan. It's at the end of the bike path.
Yeah, no, that goes up to the wastewater treatment plant.
Hmm?
That goes to the wastewater treatment plant.
Oh, it goes up instead of out. Okay.
Yeah, that basically collects from.
It used to empty into the river.
Yeah, there is an outfall there from the treated effluent, right? Or does that go in?
On the other side of of Route 5, yeah, and directly into the Connecticut River. You got
So it doesn't go into the Oxbow at all, near there.
No. There used to be overflows there, but I'm pretty sure those have been taken care of. Let's see if I can.
Mike, the fire department was included on this original email you got?
Well, in their statement, I don't know what the original email, all I got was, let's see. I mean, it went to like towns up and down the Connecticut River, so I really didn't, didn't even look at the whole list of who got it. Yeah, matter of fact, they don't even show everybody.
Okay.
But I know there was some people responding whether they're going or not, and it was like Montague and all the way up to Greenfield and whatnot. Maybe even farther up.
Okay.
I'll forward it to you. You can take a look at the drawings and all. Anyways, I was going to show you if we can.
Yeah.
How would I share this map here?
Okay. Sounds good.
You happy?
If you want to share it, you can hit the share screen button.
I gotta find you guys again. Okay, so you can see where we are now. The outfall is somewhere.
Your screen is blank right now. There it is.
There it is.
It's going to be blank again for a second. Here we go. The outfall, I believe, is right. Can you see my pointer?
Yeah.
Yeah, I believe the outfall is right here. It's like some rocks jutting out, and it's underwater usually, unless it's real shallow, and then you can see the top of the pipe. I think.
We used
It's a
to
long
fish.
time since I've been done it. Excuse me?
We used to fish there.
Yeah, well, good fishing because they got plenty to eat.
Yep.
Yeah, that's
A lot of carp.
Yeah, I think it's kind of a deep spot there too. I think that's where it is.
Yeah.
We're having to walk through the woods for a bit. It could be there, one or the other. It's not far off of Route 5. And again, like I said, they had this area marked off, whether it be it over here or over here for the
Oil.
GRS, I guess it's called. So again, like I said, I don't even know. I've never even been over this way. There's really no way to get to it.
No, by boat you can get there, but that's about.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I was looking at this satellite imagery the other day, and I'm going like, what happened to the river? It's, of course, it's got so much green growing on top of it.
Mm-hmm.
It disappeared. All right. So, anyways, I'm going to attempt to make some of that meeting tomorrow, and hopefully be able to get if they record it, to be able to see at least a recording tomorrow night. I'll report back on that. All right, the next item, the CPA request from the Park Department. Amy, did you hear anything else about that?
Yeah, so do you mind, you can unshare your screen if you're done with that.
Okay, how do I do that?
And share.
Well, that it right there, tap. Nope. Oh, okay. It's up there. I was looking in the wrong spot. I'm sorry.
Yeah, so the John Mason came to the CPA Commission last month to bring them a request for $5,700. I can share that request with you. $5,730 for historic designation for both the Stonehouse building and the Brookside Cemetery and the stone building on the Brookside Cemetery. The Historic Commission approved that funding amount at that meeting, and it's going to City Council for the December 15th meeting. It will be at Finance Subcommittee on December 14th. If anyone in this Historical Commission wants to come and speak in support of the project or against the project, those would be the dates of those City Council meetings. The agenda are on the city's website with the Zoom information for both those meetings.
Very good.
The $5,700 would fund Pioneer Valley Planning Commission to do inventories and update forms with the Mass Historic Commission. The intent of this is to get these properties and structures listed on the state register, or not the state register, but just inventoried, which would then allow Parks and Rec to have better access, more access to other funding sources to restore those buildings or rehabilitate them.
Sounds good. Any comments or questions from anybody?
It's a good idea.
Yeah, well, it's great. I mean, that way we'll have new inventories on these buildings. Actually, there is nothing on the other stone building on the Brookside, right? At
I
this
don't,
point?
I don't believe so. There is one, as you can see here. This is a partial listing for the Dalyfield Comfort Station, aka the Stonehouse building.
Yeah, they're similar structures.
Yep. I think they're both built by the CCC in the 1930s.
Yeah. 1937. There you go. Okay. Also, along the same lines, we got the determination of historical significance for requested demolition of structure. I think we already addressed this, didn't we, Jamie?
Yep. I went back in my emails and found the meeting.
I put
so
it in there and I'm going, I think we already made that decision.
This was 47 Cottage Street, 47 to 49 Cottage Street, which is the Jim's Package store and the garage. And we had talked about that a while ago. So I went ahead and emailed that.
I remember it came up because you said, well, they're going to actually want to tear it down. So let's, see if we need them to have a public hearing and all. So we, good. I mean, yeah, that was a while ago, wasn't it?
It was quite a while.
Yeah, I think it was April or February, something like that. It took me a while to find the email.
Yeah.
So we just have to sign off on the demo?
There's nothing to do. There's no, the building commissioner for the permit was requested. So that flags planning department review. And I just said, here was the vote of the commission on this date and go for it.
Yeah, our forms, which are, it does have a date sent to historical commission, but doesn't really ask if we approve or disapprove.
Yep.
Okay, so we're all set with that. About the demo delay bylaw, revising the current ordinance and whatever.
I did make some progress on that. I don't have a draft right now that's ready for to be picked apart, but if you want to review it with me, I can walk you through it. Or if you'd prefer to have another some more time to review it, I can send it out in advance of the next meeting.
Why don't we do that?
Yeah, why don't we send it out?
Yeah.
Maybe we'll have more people.
Yeah, well, hopefully we can get some of those people back. Reel them in.
Has anyone heard from John?
I have not.
I saw him at the CPA meeting last month. He did make it. And I'd heard he was, he was having some personal things going on that I'm not at liberty to share, but he himself is okay.
Okay.
But he's just having a bit of a rough time.
Okay.
So.
Okay. Yes. Why don't we do the one thing I wanted to, we're just talking about the last thing, the 4749, and one of the things that always kind of bothered me about the way Easthampton handles it is if you look at our application, it's got just that one little line. It says the day that it's sent to the date that's sent to the historical commission. I'm going to share the screen again if I can figure out where you guys went to. Maybe it's except for Windows. So, share screen. There we go. This is the tail end of our demo. Or actually, it's kind of a catch-all building permit application, and also involves demo. But all that basically we have here is date sent to historical commission, date approved by. Now, as I was not sharing that, we're looking around at other places. Our neighbor to the east, Amherst, has a full page. So here's the, okay, demolition plan, blah, blah, blah. And then they have a page for historical information and what they're going to need if it's going for a demolition permit or for a demolition delay. I would love to get something like this into our applications.
That would be great.
It would definitely, I think it would move things along a little quicker. It'd also probably flag some things that, we sometimes miss or they try to sneak by us. And plus, it gives you, if you got a building that's in inventory, even maybe 50, 60 years old, it's like if you're saying, well, show us what you want to do here, or, give us some info that at least we have an idea of what's going on. When we walk into most of these, even public hearings where there's not a whole lot of information that's provided to us. And I really don't mind somebody wants to tear something down and have them do a little more legwork. It's not all that much. Anybody have any feelings on this?
Yeah, I think we should include something like that in the delay.
I mean, it's kind of a standalone page too. So
Yeah, couldn't we just copy something like that?
Jamie?
Yeah, so I guess I would be curious to know how they went about it. Is this in their demolition delay ordinance, or is it just something that's created by their building commissioner to help implement the demo delay ordinance?
It may be. This is application for permit to demolish request for, instead of like, ours is more of the state catch-all form.
Right.
And they have basically their own form.
So, I mean, I think the process that I was sort of looking at was, so the building inspector makes any demolition, if it's with a structure that's older than 50 years, it goes to the historical commission for that initial determination. And then if that initial determination is positive, then the applicant has to come back with a set of plans and proposals and things like that. Mm-hmm. Otherwise, they don't need to go through that process. It just goes to the building commissioner. But we can include there's any number of things we can include in that requirements.
Yeah.
So
I mean, this is like, obviously nothing's ever perfect. And, but it's something I kind of like to see just because it's, gives us a little more information up front if somebody was going to tear something down. I mean, we get the application that we have, and then, oh, okay, now you're going to have to do all this stuff, where they're not really adding a whole lot more. Well, I mean, this is actually, you're looking, it's probably going to be something that's going to be considered significant anyways if you're making them jump through this hoop anyways, right?
I'm sorry, can you say
That makes sense. I mean, I'm looking at their form and going like, well, I mean, is this? It doesn't say whether or not this is a significant building. It's just, but they ask for the information, and then it's up to us or, their commission. Right? This is date forwarded to the historical commission. I don't know, like I said, I kind of like having the idea if you're going to tear something down to at least flesh it out a little more before we even see it. Instead of kind of looking at us to, okay, well, you got to figure out how old it is it inventory? That's, all pretty basic anyways. Maybe if you make them do a little more work, they'll have second thoughts.
I think that's a really good
Maybe not, but I don't know. I think it would be more of an asset for us than what we typically get. Just my thoughts. Like I said, we can, try to tweak things. Maybe it's something that we would need to approach the building inspector with.
I think that I think that within the sort of realm of where the historical commission has jurisdiction to operate is within the demo delay bylaw.
Yeah.
And so what's on the commissioner, like the building commissioner uses the state's building forms because those are readily available and easy to use. I don't know the new building commissioner very well, and I would be surprised if they were willing to, redo all of their forms for the historical commission. But within the demolition delay ordinance, we can request things once it leaves the building commissioner's purview and goes to the historical commission. Then the historical commission say these are the things we need.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
If that makes sense. So
well, do you think that
it's just one page? Why couldn't it just be included in the paperwork he already has?
Because it's not my department and it's not my, and
couldn't
and most of the applications are now done online. So in addition to whatever paper forms, they're going to have to update the permit system. And I just don't know that is something that this new building commissioner is interested in doing.
Who is the building commissioner?
Their name's BJ Church.
Excuse me.
Yep.
I'll be right back. I need water.
Beverly, I'm going to mute you in the meantime.
Well, that Aaron, where the part of the problem lies is that it's almost like, well, we don't want to create any bad blood, and I don't, but it's like nothing will ever change if you don't say like, hey, can we at least talk about this? Somebody comes in for a demo permit, can you have them fill this form out and then send it along to us, because we're going to have to review it one way or the other. If it's for regular construction or whatnot, then yeah, we don't need this. Or the part of the problem is defining by age only. You could have a fairly, I don't know any examples off the top of my head, but there could be some out there that aren't 50 years old yet that you would consider, oh, gee, that's kind of a significant structure. Something happened there that's fairly important, or it would affect the landscape or something like that.
Yeah, so that's, I guess so according to the demo delay ordinance that we have right now, it's a significant building is any building that's in whole or in part 50 years or more of age.
Uh-huh.
It's whether it's listed on the National Register of Historic Places or pending a listing on the National Register. And one of the requirements for National Register listing is 50 years or older.
Yeah.
it has to, or it's included on the cultural resource inventory prepared by the commission, which is that survey and planning grant we just went through, which again must be 50 years or older. Or the final option is it's been determined by a vote of the commission to be historically or architecturally significant in terms of period, style, method of building construction, or association with famous person, event, architect, or builder. And if that were the case, and that structure was less than 50 years old, then the commission needs to be proactive in recognizing that structure as significant.
Yeah.
So, if you take the example of the barn that just went through, that barn was, it's over 100 years old. And so it got flagged, but it was still not determined to be historically significant because it wasn't listed on the National Register. It didn't have a cultural inventory form, and the commission just decided that it wasn't historically significant in terms of period, style, method of building construction, or association with a famous person, event, architect, or builder. So why would that applicant have needed to go through an entire rigmarole just to...
Well, I mean, how much of a rigmarole would it be to say, like, fill out one form? Okay, historic name of the building or structure if known, Tomaszewski Farm, present use, empty, original use, livestock or whatever. Date of construction, there's also, style, they might not know that. Architect, builder probably got. Materials, secondary structures, if there was any. Was it moved? Yes. And then setting neighborhood, farm, old farm, not there anymore. And then some couple of pictures and the site map. I mean, the thing is, if, obviously with the case we just went through, if we said, no, you can't tear it down, I mean, we could have just left it for another 30 years and it would fall down on its own, maybe not even. Yeah. Heavy snowstorm would take it down. I don't know. I mean, it's just a thought at this point anyways. And like I said, is it maybe worthwhile speaking to the building inspector to ask if they would, especially for any kind of demo, give us a little background and give us, maybe we can move things along a little quicker instead of, because a lot of times we get it and now we got, now we got to do a special meeting. If we could incorporate the demo public hearings with our regular meetings by setting, you're going for a demo, it's an older, they're going to know if it's an older building and whether they should fill this form out or not. And you got to have it in 2 weeks before our next meeting for us to consider it. Otherwise, you're waiting until next month. I don't think that's unreasonable, is it?
No, I don't think it's unreasonable. I was just sort of saying that I think working within the process that the demo delay ordinance is already set up with, then to me, it makes sense to keep this initial determination period more or less as it is. And then once the commission's determined that it's potentially significant, then we ask for all that information. And that's the information that goes into the public hearing and that goes into the record. Otherwise, it's just, I think that we're going to get pushback from the building department.
How many demos?
Every time that someone does like a kitchen remodeling, it includes a demolition permit.
Right, but I mean, obviously there's a threshold of how much demo before we're considering any kind of significance on it.
I mean, not according to the demo delay ordinance.
Right.
Any-
Well,
any-
that's one of the things we were-
Any demolition in part or in whole
Yeah.
triggers the demo delay ordinance. So it would be, just about every single building permit has a demolition component. Beverly, you're muted.
I think we're only talking about this in case they want to take a whole building down, not in terms of the any sort of demo delay for interior work or anything like that. I think you're only referring to a complete demolition.
Well, that's not the way that we were taking it at the subcommittee meetings, because there were questions about how much of a building needs to be removed before it's considered demolition of that building.
Right.
Sure, we're not really concerned with someone remodeling a bathroom or remodeling a kitchen or gutting a house, but what about an addition to a building where you have to take down a wall? And that wall is...
I mean, a good example of this is the house across from the American Legion Hall, which was, an old salt box, maybe. I can't remember exactly what it looked like now. And he did all sorts of, did the eyebrow windows, and looks pretty good now, but he's been working on it for 20 years.
Or more.
It's the house I'm talking about, Beverly, right?
Huh?
Yeah.
The house on Pleasant Street?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
one of those houses in town, but I don't think at the time he applied for any kind of permits to do what he did.
He must have applied for building permit, right?
I don't think we ever saw anything come through the Historic Commission.
No, that's kind of what I'm saying. Okay, I'm going to pull the roof off and do this, and we still don't see it. And all of a sudden, you're looking at something that was a pretty old house. Now it's kind of, it's a Franken house.
Destroyed.
Which, maybe fine down the road, but I don't know.
It was one of the 3 oldest houses in town before he did what he did to it.
Cool. I don't know. I mean, it's kind of, you win some, you lose some. Obviously, you may not, but at least if you get the opportunity to talk about it, before he's doing things. What are your plans, or why you want to do this? Why do you want to, make it look like that? Just to get those questions out there. But this is also something that doesn't have to be put into place in anytime real soon. But and the other hand too, it would be nice just to be able to move things along instead of special. Okay, we got to schedule a special meeting. Got to make sure we get enough people together for that. And if it was as part of our regular monthly meeting, would be simpler.
But I don't think that there's any reason why it has to be a special public meeting.
Right.
And most of the time we've done these, the public hearing has occurred during
It's going to be probably 50-50, always throw in an extra meeting or whatever, which, it's not usually a big deal, but it could be.
But I think, in my perspective, fixing the timelines that the commission has to respond addresses those concerns much better, because if you have 30 days to respond as opposed to 14, then the commission can deal with these at its regularly scheduled meetings.
Yeah, great. Oh, yeah. The other thing too is, if this was included as part of the application package for a demo, it kind of gives the person that's looking for the demo that some of the stuff he's going to need to kind of look at anyways, instead of like, okay, I'm going to tear it down, and we're going to decide if this is significant. Okay, it is. Now this is what you have to do. I don't know. It's like maybe kind of a chicken and the egg thing. What's coming first, the information, or do you look for the determination and then decide, put everything together. That's just my thought. I don't, how much difference would it make? I don't know if it would make any difference. But I just kind of like having that info in front of us, at least basic information. Part of the problem, if you look at like our application, building application and demo application, it's kind of like we're an afterthought in that process, and you're kind of like reinforce that with saying, like, well, we don't want to get the building inspector mad. I get it. It's, you want to work with everybody, but it's also like, it doesn't hurt to talk to them either,
Yeah.
It might be nice at some point for the commission to meet the building inspector.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And tell them our concerns and, go through some of the properties we've lost. And kind of get him kind of more, on board with what's happening.
Yeah, I mean, I think that, if the commission wants to invite the building inspector to a meeting, that might work. But, historically, the building inspector has not wanted to, engage with the commissions, the zoning board or the historical commission.
Yeah.
I think that it would be,
well, maybe
I'm not saying no, I'm just saying that the commission would need to invite the building commissioner, the building inspector. And I think that it would be helpful for the commission to hear from the building inspector, because, their tasks are not, they get their powers directly from the state, not through the city. So they're working with a different set of ordinances and laws than what the historical commission's working with.
I have to say, I haven't really had too many issues with the building inspectors over the years of doing this. Some were really good at basically letting me know anytime a demo came across his desk. Others you didn't hear from at all, or they were confused about the whole thing, and then they would kind of backtrack on it. But for the most part, though, they were all pretty good as far as like at least getting in the loop. Once they were notified that, hey, this is you gotta let us know, they would be okay. And and I would get I think it was John Flagg.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he'd call me all the time. I got a question about this one. You're going to need this. No, that's fairly new. Okay, no big deal. Whatever. But at least he'd ask.
Right.
But other, I think there was a couple at the beginning that were like pulling teeth for a while. But anyways,
I think we had a good relationship with Myron years ago.
Yeah, that was a little bit before my time. Barely. I think when I started doing this, he was still doing it, but they didn't have too many demos to deal with. All right. Well, we can don't need to take any action on it. It's just, like I said, it's a thought. Just kind of think about maybe the other idea would be to have our own, kind of a separate application going, okay, this, this is a significant building here, fill this out and bring us pictures and pictures and arrows and a paragraph on the back of each one, explaining what each one was. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, that, and that would certainly, part of the problem becomes when, okay, we're going to do a public hearing and we're not seeing a lot of this stuff until the hearing either, and it's making decisions based on, slowing everything down and getting things out of order sometimes, and giving some people conniptions.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, I think we've beaten that horse to death for right now.
Well, I will take all this comment into consideration as I'm drafting up this. I took some notes, and maybe there's a way we can get the building commissioner to adopt a new form in consultation with the historic commission. And if not, we can also have a plan B, where we just get the notice and then ask for that later.
Yeah, I'd like the idea of, what they're asking for on there, because it gives us a decent background when we start looking at it, instead of us doing all the legwork too, because, you think the owner would have more of a handle on some of that stuff. And if they needed help, they could always, talk to us. All right. You want to do a quick update on the survey and planning grant?
Sure. So we received the final everything. This is the final report, which looks pretty good. Just gonna quickly flip through it. There's also, in addition to this report, 100 inventory forms that we received in hard copy, which I've also saved onto the city's file sharing system. They're not publicly available right now. The hard copies will go into the Historic Commission files in the conference room, but they do need to be sorted or filed. Right now, they're just a stack of 100 inventory forms grouped by street. But I know that previously we had a, I guess before COVID now, discussion about organizing those files, and this would also need to probably fit into that process, and I don't know how we want to proceed with that. So I don't know if there's any questions or
Did we get a copy of this?
Yeah, there we have 3 copies of this report.
Could we get it electronically so I can read it?
Yes.
Yeah.
I will send it out to everyone.
Okay, that'd be good.
And as I said, that we got 3 hard copies. One will stay in the planning department, one will go into the historical commission, and one will go to the library.
Yep. Perfect. Well, what was your overall feeling after you kind of took a look at it? A decent job, or?
Yeah. They did what we contracted them to do, which is to work with us in Mass Historic Commission to inventory these properties. We have 66 new inventory sheets, 34 updates, a proposal for National Register District of the Williston Northampton School, as well as 3 individual properties, 3 elementary schools for individual National Register listings. And, they did a good job, I thought.
Good.
So I will send out this report to the commission. And if anyone wants, I can also send out a link to the PDF final inventories.
Okay. Cool recommendations too, huh?
Yep. And then resources. Okay. And that's the,
Very nice. Is that where they were all located?
Yep.
Oh, wow. Spread it out a little bit more than I kind of expected. More over in the Prospect and Street area, huh?
yeah, it was sort of more clustered, and then they ended up choosing the properties that were more clustered around the downtown.
Yeah.
We had sort of wanted them to go into the Garfield, Bryan, Ward Ave area, I think, but we had sent them something like 240 properties to consider,
Right.
and these were the ones that I think were the most intact.
I mean, I don't know exactly what caused this to happen, but I think at one time Pleasant Street was really going to, kind of be like the center of town, and it just didn't happen.
Yep.
And it kind of went up Cottage Street, and so interesting.
Mm-hmm.
All right, perfect. It's getting late. Do you want to keep going, or do you? We only got a few more things. A couple things I kind of want to table for later, like the. Well, we could go over the canal project. If you want to do that quick and wrap it up.
Well, it's almost 8 o'clock.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, what? Crazy.
So one more screen share. So the canal,
Yes.
we received, just got this information today. We received a proposal from SWCA, which used to be New England Environmental until they merged with, I guess, SWCA. And they submitted this proposal to do the work of the archaeological survey to sort of document the canal from the border of Connecticut up through Northampton. And I don't want to say anything more right now because we're still in the contracting period, and I don't want to mess anything up with that. But we did, as I said, we received this one, and they, to my eyes, they met all of the minimum requirements and standards, and in fact exceeded them. And we would hope to get started in January if PVPC agrees that this is the group that we want to select.
And
A big deal. It's nice to see that this is actually should be taken off. Hopefully. That was interesting right there, that LiDAR over one. I mean, you definitely see it. Whereas on other maps, it's really hard to pick out.
Yep.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. All right. So we will know more by the beginning of next year, right?
Exactly.
So next meeting.
would they be doing archaeological digs along it?
Yeah, so they're going to start with creating a digital map of the route, locating it in reality, in a digital reality, so we know exactly where it is and what properties it goes through. And they're going to use LiDAR data as well as the preliminary maps that were created by Carl Walter and then translated digitally by the city of Northampton. Then they'll be doing reconnaissance surveys along the entire length of it. And that reconnaissance survey will feed into inventory forms and a list of areas that they think are fit for the archaeological and site inventories. So I don't know how much archaeological work they're going to be doing as much as they're going to be sample digs and like identifying that these are locations that are historically significant or contain archaeological artifacts that should be protected in some way going forward. They'll also be creating a bunch of inventory forms for the project for each community. And something to consider is that, our demo delay ordinance is only with regards to structures, buildings, not even all structures. So, while we're going through the demo delay process, if it was something that, we know roughly where the canal route is, but there's going to be proposals at some point in time, I'm sure of it, that would disrupt that. And, if we know where the archaeological sites of importance are, then we can protect them.
Very good.
I can send the commission that as well if you'd like to read through it in more detail.
It's a nice looking document.
Mm-hmm.
All right. It's number 10. So number 11, we will table till next time. That's officers for the Historical Commission and the 2022 meeting schedule. I just basically picked did a list of the second Wednesdays, which, is tentative anyways, at best. You can check that against any holidays or whatever. And, but I can make a sheet for next time. So the next meeting should be January 12th. 122. Wow. So 1972 this year is our new old enough date.
Wow.
That's crazy.
Yep.
All right. Do we get a motion to adjourn?
I move that we adjourn and have.
No way. Second?
Yeah.
Yes? Second?
Yes.
Okay.
All right.
All right. All in favor, Beverly? All in favor of adjourning?
Aye.
Beverly and Tracy, aye, and Mike, aye.
All right.
All right. Thank you very much.
Have a great holiday season, everybody.
Merry Christmas, everybody.
Yeah.
And everybody. Stay safe.
Yeah, we'll see you.
Take care.
All right.
Bye-bye.
All right.